In late 2025, one of the most trusted names in technology was put on a public hit list. The culprits weren't assassins, they were hackers. And the target was Logitech, the company that makes the mouse on your desk and the keyboard you're probably typing on. This wasn't a simple case of a few stolen passwords. This was a digital heist of epic proportions, orchestrated by the world's most notorious data extortion gang. And it all started with a single hidden flaw that brought giants to their knees. On November 14, 2025, Logitech did something that every major corporation dreads. They filed a public notice, an 8K form with the SEC, admitting they had been breached. It was a quiet, corporate speak confession of a massive cybersecurity failure. But on the dark web, the story was being told with a lot more flair. A group known as CLOP, a name whispered with fear in cybersecurity circles, had already added Logitech to their list of victims. They didn't just claim responsibility. They posted a countdown timer, a public threat to leak everything they had stolen unless their demands were met. And what they had stolen was staggering: 1.8 terabytes of data. To put that into perspective, that's the equivalent of around 400 DVDs, or streaming high-definition video continuously for months. It's an almost unimaginable amount of information, siphoned directly from Logitech's internal systems. The company insisted the data was limited, containing information on employees, customers, and suppliers, but explicitly stated that no highly sensitive personal data, like social security numbers or credit cards, was in the affected systems. But with 1.8 terabytes, the question everyone was asking was, what does limited even mean? How can a data breach be both massive in scale and limited in scope? To understand that, you have to understand the criminals behind it. This wasn't the work of some lone hacker in a basement. This was CLOP, a sophisticated, Russian-speaking cybercrime syndicate that has fundamentally changed the game. For years, the big threat was ransomware. Hackers lock up your files and demand a fee to unlock them. But CLOP evolved. They realized that in a world where companies have backups, locking files isn't always enough. The real leverage isn't encryption, it's exposure. So they pivoted to a new model: data theft and extortion. They break in, steal as much as they can, and then threaten to publish it all online for the world to see. It's a form of public shaming, turning a private corporate crisis into a public spectacle. Their dark website isn't just a place for threats, it's a trophy room, a hit list of corporate giants from manufacturing and tech to law firms and universities. For Logitech, the clock was ticking, with CLOP threatening to release their data in just 24 to 48 hours. This wasn't just a hack, it was a hostage situation, played out in public. But here's where the story takes a critical turn. CLOP didn't find some secret backdoor in a Logitech keyboard. They didn't crack the code on a Logitech webcam. The breach didn't happen because of a flaw in any Logitech product at all. In fact, they never directly attacked Logitech's own defenses. They used a much more insidious method: a supply chain attack. Imagine a medieval castle. The walls are high, The gates are reinforced, and guards are on every tower. It's impenetrable. But the castle gets its food deliveries from a trusted local farm. One day, attackers don't storm the gates. Instead, they hide inside the food carts. The guards, seeing the familiar delivery, wave them right through. That's a supply chain attack. And in this case, the food cart was a piece of software almost no one outside of the corporate world has ever heard of. Oracle E-Business Suite. Oracle EBS is a massive, complex piece of enterprise software that companies like Logitech use to manage everything from finance and HR to their supply chain. It's the central nervous system for a global corporation. And deep inside its code, there was a flaw, a zero-day vulnerability. A zero-day is the cybersecurity equivalent of a skeleton key. It's a flaw in software that the software maker, in this case Oracle, doesn't know about yet. This means there's no patch, no fix, and no defense. For hackers, finding a zero-day is like finding a secret, unguarded entrance into thousands of the world's biggest companies. And Klopp found one. It was catalogued as CVE 2025-61882. Starting in the summer of 2025, Klopp began using this skeleton key. They weren't targeting companies one by one. They were scanning the internet for any organization running a vulnerable version of Oracle software and hitting them all at once. It was opportunistic, it was automated, and it was devastatingly effective. Logitech was just one of hundreds of victims caught in this net. So while Logitech's own walls were secure, their trusted software supplier Oracle had unknowingly left a door wide open. And Klopp walked right through it, spending hours, maybe even days, quietly copying 1.8 terabytes of data before anyone at Logitech even knew they were there. The breach was only discovered on November 7th, months after the attackers likely first got in. By then, the damage was done. The digital vault had been emptied. And this is where the debate over that 1.8 terabytes really heats up. Logitech claimed no sensitive financial data was taken. But think about what runs on an enterprise system like this. It's not just internal memos, it's purchase orders, supplier contracts, shipping manifests, customer support logs, and employee records. While a single file might not contain your credit card number, the combination of thousands of these documents could be used to piece together a terrifyingly detailed picture of a person or a company's operations. What if your company is a supplier to Logitech? Your contracts, pricing, and contact information could be in that data. What if you're a Logitech employee? Your internal ID, performance reviews, and work history might be there. What if you're a customer who had a product replaced under warranty? Your name, address, and support history could be part of the leak. This is the danger of a breach this large. It's not about one specific piece of data. It's about the sheer volume and the potential for it all to be interconnected. Klopp didn't just steal files, they stole context. They stole the blueprint of how Logitech does business. But maybe the most shocking part of this story is that Logitech wasn't alone. They weren't even the most high-profile victim. This wasn't a solo attack. It was a massacre. Klopp's Oracle Apocalypse campaign, as some started calling it, cut a wide swath across the global economy. The list of victims Klopp posted read like a who's who of industry and academia. Harvard University, The Washington Post, global media company Informa, industrial giants like Rheem and Trimble. One single flaw in one piece of software created a chain reaction, a domino effect that toppled hundreds of organizations simultaneously. It was a brutal demonstration of how interconnected and fragile our digital infrastructure really is. Your mouse maker, your news source, and the university your kids might attend, all breached through the exact same vulnerability. It proved that in modern cybersecurity, you are only as strong as your weakest supplier. This brings us to the timeline, and it's a masterclass in corporate finger-pointing and delayed reactions. The evidence suggests Klopp began exploiting this Oracle zero-day sometime in the summer of 2025, possibly as early as July. For months, they were operating in the shadows. Oracle, the software vendor, finally became aware of the problem and issued patches. The first one came on October 2nd, but it was reportedly ineffective. They tried again with another patch on October 11th, but by then, it was too late for many. The attackers had a window of several months to exploit the flaw before any fix was available. And even after the patches were released, companies had to act fast to apply them. Any delay left them exposed. Logitech stated they applied the patches as soon as the vendor made them available. But the entire incident sparked a fiery debate about accountability. When a zero-day in a third-party product leads to a breach, who is truly at fault? Is it the software vendor Oracle for having a flaw in their product and potentially being slow to fix it? Is it the victim company Logitech for relying on that software? Or is the blame solely on the hackers who exploited it? The reality is, it's a shared failure. And it's a failure that highlights a growing, uncomfortable truth in the tech world. In the aftermath, Logitech's response was carefully managed. In their public statements, they never once named Oracle or the specific software involved. They referred to it only as a third-party platform. This lack of transparency drew criticism. By not naming the source of the breach, were they protecting themselves, or were they making it harder for other companies to realize they might also be at risk? Then there's the issue of the ransom. Klopp's entire business model is extortion. Yet Logitech has never publicly detailed any ransom demand. And perhaps most tellingly, Logitech assured its investors that the incident would have no material impact on their finances or operations, partly because the costs were expected to be covered by their cybersecurity insurance. On one hand, this sounds like a good thing. They were prepared. But critics argue that an over-reliance on insurance can create a moral hazard. Does it reduce the incentive to invest in the grueling, expensive work of vetting every single third-party vendor? If you know your insurance will cover the cleanup, do you take the security of your supply chain as seriously as you should? It's a controversial idea, but one that's being debated more and more in boardrooms. And you can't ignore the irony here. Logitech has built a reputation on reliable, secure hardware. They sell webcams with physical privacy shutters, a direct nod to consumer concerns about being watched. They are a symbol of everyday, dependable tech. Yet they were breached not through some high-tech gadgetry, but through the most boring, unglamorous part of their business, their back-end enterprise software. It's a powerful reminder that in cybersecurity, no one is immune. The front door can be made of steel, but if you leave the back window open, it doesn't matter. So what can we learn from this? What are the takeaways from the day one of the world's biggest peripheral makers ended up on a hacker's hit list? First, the nature of cybercrime has changed. It's no longer just about disruption. It's about humiliation and leverage. Klopp's tactic of public shaming is designed to create maximum pressure and force a quick payout. They turn a company's own data into a weapon against them. Second, the supply chain is the new battleground. Your own security can be perfect, but if any one of your hundreds of software vendors has a weakness, you have that weakness too. This puts immense pressure on companies to not only secure their own networks, but to rigorously audit the security of every partner they work with. And finally, for every one of us, this is a wake-up call about the hidden complexity behind the simple devices we use every day. The mouse in your hand is the end product of a dizzying global supply chain, both physical and digital. A flaw originating in a software company's code in one country can lead to a data breach at a hardware company in another, affecting customers all over the world. As of the end of 2025, Klopp had still not publicly released the 1.8 terabytes of Logitech data, suggesting a negotiation may have happened behind the scenes. But their list of victims continues to grow. The Oracle 0 day was a devastating blow, but it won't be the last. Another 0 day is always just around the corner, and another hacking group is always ready to exploit it. For small and medium-sized businesses, the lesson from Logitech's ordeal is stark and simple. Patch your systems. Vet your third-party software urgently. You may not have Logitech's resources or their insurance policy. For you, a breach like this could be an extinction-level event. The choice is yours. Update now or prepare to join the leak list. This is a story that is far from over. The digital war is ongoing, and every company and every individual is on the front lines, whether they know it or not. Stay vigilant. If you want to understand more about how these massive cyber attacks work and how you can protect yourself, make sure you subscribe. We break down the biggest stories in tech and security every week. Thanks for watching.